pass it to Kim.
Yeah, and I just started recording. Sorry, I was late on that. Intentions, catch up, see how we're doing. We want to deploy our new onboarding journey this week, so see how far along we've gotten. Distractions. I love that you said Twitter thread because I have this Twitter thread in my mind, and I'm like, do I just spend the time to put it on paper and count the characters and measure and do? And it's been like 2 weeks I haven't done it, so I definitely am feeling that. And then unsolicited advice. I guess people can be well-meaning when they want you to be comfortable by doing what makes them feel comfortable, if you know what I mean. So it's well-meant advice. Oh, you should take a vacation. You should work less. These kinds of things that are like, what if I like this? Like, I'm enjoying so it's those kinds of things, or I don't know. There's a lot of unsolicited advice, and it's just being able to like graciously tune it out and knowing that the intention is usually well-meaning, although maybe they're not really thinking about you so much. They're more thinking about maybe what they would like more in their own lives. And so, yeah, I think I get a lot of that. I don't know if MS went, but I'll pass to MS.
Damn. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I was just making sure my audio was weird for a second. This is the prompt for advice you wish you wouldn't have received, right?
Yes, plus the intentions and instruction for the goal.
Okay, cool. Mine is not as much of a serious note, but over the weekend I had been given the advice to eat this really, really large pizza that was recommended to me. And when I say really, really large pizza, I mean like a 28-inch pizza. So I got it for the family, and I made it about a slice and a half in, and it was, I regretted it about after the slice and a half. So yeah, that's my piece of advice that I wish I wouldn't have received. I would feel better and less lethargic today. I just got in, so I'm not sure who hasn't gone yet. Somebody
It's
wants
okay.
to hop in. Cool.
You see, Gideon, there could be regrets about things. I will pass it on to LBS.
There you go. Yeah, my intention today is just to, I'm still in my low state, so I'm just kind of checking in, keeping my thumb on the pulse of what's happening, so that when I get energy again, I can dive back in. As far as distractions go, I'm dealing with some really unfortunate interpersonal abuse, so I'm kind of distracted by that for sure. And then unsolicited advice, as an AFAB, I hate it when people tell me to be safe. I hate it so much. I'm always trying to be safe. That is always something that I've been trained from my childhood to watch every corner on being safe. Wish me a smooth journey instead. And let's see. I'll pass to Vi if he hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, I joined a bit late. What exactly is the prompt? Is it like a piece of advice you wish you wouldn't have received?
Correct. And your intentions and instruction for this goal.
So first I'll go with the intentions instructions. I don't have any instructions. The intentions sync up and get all of the stuff deployed so that we can have everything we worked on in this actual server. And piece of advice I wish I wouldn't receive. I think it's pretty much 90% of the advice people spew at me. I don't know. I think it's just general lack of good advice. A works for someone doesn't mean that it will work for me when you're imposing on me. So yeah, that's the fun thing. I think instead of advice, I started trusting books more. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll pass it on to Pythagorean. I don't know if they fit or not.
Hola.
Welcome. welcome to community. That's called Pythagorean. So
Thanks.
we basically start with an intention and distraction, and any piece of advice that you feel wasn't unsolicited. You would like to share. It could be comical, like pizza for a mess. It could be meaningful. Could be hurtful. Whatever you feel vulnerable enough to share.
My intention for the call today is to learn more about what the hopes, desires, priorities, and things that need to get done with this group to see how I might be able to be helpful. Distractions. I am going to be mobile very soon, so I'll be taking off my video, and I'll be sure to mute. But yeah, I'll be getting picked up in just a few minutes here, so that's a distraction for me. And I'm surprised that this question about the unsolicited advice is currently not landing for me. So I'm gonna just see if I can explore that some more offline. But I don't have anything to share at this time, so I'll pass it on to whoever's passing. Thank you.
No problem. Yes, feel free. Like for example, Nick wrote down on the Communitas text channel her version of unsolicited advice, so you can also answer that if you feel like, or if not, it's also okay. And I will pass it on to Janacy.
Hello. Well, my intention is to see with you what you have been working on so far and maybe give you some ideas if possible. And my distraction could be my internet connection. And it is not as okay as usually is. And speaking about unsolicited advice, well, right now I'm selling my dad's car. He passed away last year, and I posted. So a guy wrote me, and he said that maybe it would be a problem to sell it because it has a problem with the HP's numbers because it got damaged over time. And I was like, oh, okay. But he started to speak a lot about that, and I was like, okay, I know that. I already know that. my lawyer know that. Thank you. But at the end, he even was, he even had the intention of buying it. I mean, he just started to talk about that. It was real. And I said, well, okay, thank you for your advice, I think. And that's it. I think that Cesar is the next one.
Yeah, thank you. And the last one, Cesar, would like to share intentions and instructions. Welcome to Community's call, by the way, and share intentions and instructions and any piece of unsolicited advice that you have received that would you like to share with us.
All right. Hello, everyone. My intention is to learn from you guys, see what you guys are up to. Also, I was invited to share the form for the community calls feedback, and so I guess I'll talk a little about that. My distraction is also my internet. Right now, I'm on my phone. I'm trying to get my my laptop to work, but I just have to do a voice call. And then unsolicited advice. I'm drawing blanks, but I'm going to go to my good old reliable one is drink water. There's never a bad time to drink water, so do that. I'll check.
And this is yes, I mean, this for me was a little exercise of trying to build upon the negatives as we sometimes get or receive. I like, being positive all the time, but I cannot deny there's sometimes, things that hit us in a different way. So for me, it was about having this small conversation and this small moment of vulnerability. Oh, sorry, Durgaras, go ahead.
Okay, so my intention is to give my normal amount of unsolicited advice, which feels like the only thing that I really do here. And so, I don't seem to be particularly responsible for anything, nor do I produce much value of any kind, but I do a lot of unsolicited advice, and somehow people keep wanting that. So my distractions is normal. I have a day job, so sometimes that's distracting. And I think I give so much damn unsolicited advice because I'm given so much myself throughout my life. It just feels like a family dynamic. You know, my dad, well, you know, and it's just constantly. And then I'm also in a relationship that, you know, she's a former school teacher, and so she seems just sort of constructed to give unsolicited advice on a never-ending basis. So, so that's my little ditty. So thank you. So I apologize in advance for my unsolicited advice.
Thank you, Nirgala. The best of us for the last. So I don't know. I put the agenda here in no particular order, but I think, and Ham, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we can start with the deployment of the onboarding journey as the first thing in the agenda to see any check-ins that there is need to be made, or just before jumping into the rest that probably are not priority as onboarding journey.
Sure. I'm recording here, so let me see. I mean, I think maybe it's with the components left to do. Let's have a quick look on ZenHub. So there's the survey with the old bot, and then the channels, finalizing the channels on the staging server. So all of the little messages, the pinned messages, all of those little details, and then the I think one more component for the guide. It was how to use Discord and how to submit a proposal are the two pieces of content that we need for the guide. And then I think we're ready to deploy. I would love, maybe, I don't know, Vi, if you want to share any update that you have on how we are with the moving of the bots to the shared server, and whether that they could be ready to deploy this week.
They should be ready to deploy this week. I just need to look into it and see what method how we want to deploy them. Ideally, I'll raise it and then have it like somehow auto deploy from the GitHub repos. Like whenever we update the code there, it gets automatically updated on the deployed instance. So I'll probably set it up this week.
Yeah, I wonder if we maybe take a big block of time. We talked about sort of doing this together because we're going to need maybe a few people to just edit the channels all together while we're doing this. I wonder if we think that Wednesday is a good day to do this, and maybe we have a block of time sort of dedicated to updating the channels.
Yeah, I was thinking on do the huge block of channels today, so it would be easier for everyone on Wednesday probably. Yeah, on Wednesday probably to edit the grammar, because I feel the heavy part is the grammar part. That for me it's probably the tricky part. So I was thinking on doing a lot of work ahead, leave them ready on what I consider could be a good description, the link to manifestos, to every working group text channel, and so on. And then you guys can Wednesday then fill it up and correct it if it is necessary.
Got
that
it.
Works for everyone.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that would be great. You mean on the staging server? I thought you meant we were going to do it on live on the TEC today, and I was like, oh, today I'm not ready. Cool. Yeah. Now?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, that would be fantastic. And then, how does that work for your schedule, Vi? Should we try to have like a hour and a half, 2 hour block of time where we can make the changes live on this TEC Discord server? I mean, probably we'll have a go, no go on Wednesday morning. And then if it's go, or maybe Wednesday.
Wednesday works for me.
Cool.
Also for me.
Preferably like maybe 2 hours before the orientation call, or like somewhere around that time frame.
That sounds right to me too. 2 hours before the orientation call. So maybe it's like
4 p.m.
Okay. I could do 2 p.m. CET or 5 p.m. CET on Wednesday. But I maybe don't need to be there for the whole time.
I can do 5 p.m. Bye. Are you available 5 p.m.?
I can do both of them.
Maybe
Thursday.
maybe we block out 4 to 6 p.m. as just like the working
Right.
session time,
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
perfect.
And
And
then
everyone here is welcome to join also, by the way.
Hey, how logistically, how do you do this? Do you just go back and forth between the servers and just copy it just visually? Is that manually? There's not really a way of bringing it over, right?
I could have a bot do it, but then it's not going to be safe. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would be better if we do it ourselves, because like one channel might just get deleted somehow.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be that kind of manual, like check, okay, oh, this we can archive, okay, this, yeah. Which is why I think we need a 2-hour block, because those things take time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the survey guide bot, are we looking good other than the pieces of information that are missing for the guide bot? Do we have everything else we need for that bot?
For now, yes, but maybe we can add more content to it. I'm planning on working on making it more easy to add more content to it. So you won't have to write code to add text to it. You can use maybe a file and just add your text in there. So that's something that might be ready sometime this week. I'm not sure when I'll get to that.
So we have a spreadsheet with every channel text, every survey text, so we can sort of have a source of truth for this, because right now it's spread around a bunch of documents, and then we have the content document. But yeah, I feel having a space where we know what is it, how was this built, or what was this text for this? Oh, here it is. I can copy and paste it. I don't know if that's more accessible, because in the spreadsheet it seems more organized, or something like that. I don't know. What do you think, then?
For the channels?
Yeah, for the text in general. I don't know if it's needed. Never mind.
I think I feel like if you're doing it alongside the updates, it's easy. But then to go back, if you're doing the updates on the channel, on the staging server, I feel like we can go to the staging server, and it's sort of like channel name, like the placement of the channel, the that title, and then the pinned message. It's like those 4 components for each channel. We can just like check one by one. I mean, this is going to be like. It's going to be fun to hang out with Vi and have fun, and you, Eduardo. It's like this is the kind of task that you need to do with a bunch of fun people.
How does it go? Check.
Check. Yeah, I think we just do it one by one, and then you will be done, and then it'll be over.
Perfect.
Hey, so I'm happy to do like an editorial pass. Like I don't know, are you going to have? Is it just going to be in the mockup server, or is it? Are you Edu? Do you have it someplace else where you're writing the descriptions out, or?
No. What I can do is that I will work the batch of these things and send you a ping when I have finished, so you can check them out. Okay. Though, is there anything else regarding the onboarding journey? So, make a brief pause regarding this, because
Can I just say
Yes.
one thing about that? I think Acid Laser's been gone, so he was sick for a couple of days, and then did he go on some vacation or something that I hear? So I haven't
Yes, until
really
today.
talked to him since then, so I don't have any like update on the graphic or anything. So just FYI.
Thank you. Yeah, since he told me he was going to be until Monday, that's why I didn't ask for feedback to this. MS, by the way, do you have like the bigger picture thing? Have you given some thoughts? Just not put you on the spot, just to be aware if there's any update on that, then that's it.
Yep. So Tam and I actually have been having some conversations around it. I've added to the Miro board a frame that we'll start working out of, and that's kind of putting our thoughts in there, and then I figured that'll be kind of the artifact for collaboration.
Perfect. Just to provide context to Pythagorean, Cesar, Genesi, and Aloysius, basically MS is doing, and Tam are doing this kind of overview of the whole process rather than just this starting point. And this is a work in progress. So feedback, I guess it's allowed and it's welcome. And it's also nice for you to take a look at how things are going and how things will progress along the way. So yeah, just for provide context for everyone else.
It builds a lot off of a lot of the points and ideas that Gideon and LB and everybody brought up. Like there's a lot of thoughts behind it that are starting to come to fruition here. So I just want to make sure we get that shout out in too.
Perfect. And yes, following that same chain of thoughts, I'm really happy with, even if we just had 5 minutes on the community call last week, for me, there was this, first of all, I have to apologize for the confusion of how are we going to make this presentation on the community call. In my mind, things made sense. It clearly didn't. But I'm so happy it came out so well. Especially, I'm really happy in the way that I present. You sound so happy and so proud, and it was so nice to hear you like that. So, kudos and shout out to you. Same with the mass. You were clear. You were respectful. Like I just like the way that the spirit of the community that's working group sort of passed it on to the presentation. So thank you for that. It was just a small cheesy moment I want to share with you guys. And then if we go back to the agenda, I work on the guides on guides, the GOG document. So basically, this is the way I do the guide process and the onboarding and orientation and so on. I did the first part, which is a fast check-in of what everyone can do, what anyone can do here in the call. So technically, anyone can be a guide if they want. This is more instructions, very simple kind of approach. And I divided by the kind of channels and what kind of information you will get from different channels, and trying to sort of schematize a little bit. And then if we move down, it's just a little bit of the description of the guides. And this is something Jean helped me to sort of understood along the way regarding the tone, and sort of also LB and Aloysius regarding certain processes of being empathic with the situation of other persons, their pronouns, and so on. So I came out with this kind of idea of the personal tone, the proactive tone, and the conversational tone. And all of them are based on what is the tone that the other person is giving to you, not what's the tone of the DEC. So for me, it's more of a responsive tone to the people. So in a way, we adapt to them. And this is the 3 cases scenario I came up with. The personal tone, which is basically a lot of introvert people who are not comfortable with breaking the ice, not putting the camera on, this kind of things. So it's how do you respond to them, you know? And it basically ends up on a one-on-one session because it's the space that they feel more comfortable with. And then I move on to the proactive tone, which is the people who already know what they want to hear. They already are sure what they are coming for. So it's really putting them out. You can be more energetic with them. You can be more like, hey, I can help with this. Hey, what do you need? And so on. And then the conversational tone, which is a lot of more of a philosophical approach. A lot of conversation that happens in the channels. People who want to engage, people who want to be heard, people who just want to fit at some point in certain spaces. So you just give them space to talk, and you just give them space to be heard. That's a little bit about the conversational tone. I also added a little bit about the no's and what are the things that I suggest are a no's. These are suggestions. Please feel free to provide feedback on the document or here after I finish this small presentation. One of the key things for me was not leave a person hanging. A lot of people just spend 2-3 minutes on the server. This is the only time they had to send you a message. And if they send it to you, please try to respond immediately according to your circumstances, of course. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome to the Communitas working group. We are going through a thing we call guides, which is a little bit of the process that we use here to welcome people. Feel free to ask any question, and you're welcome to stay, of course. All right. So then I disclose the orientation call. The things on red are the things that I have not accomplished yet. So have the presentation ready means the presentation I'm doing with Acid Laser, that presentation isn't ready yet. So right now I'm using a hack and beat document. Have an updated TLDR on what's going on the TEC that week. Like I don't do that on the orientation call, and it could be useful to people to know what's going on. Trans party, we had a whatever thing event going on that week, or what's going on in the working groups relevantly. Things that could be useful for people to know because it's more practical and it showcases a little bit of what's going on in the TEC. So you can think of it as a track from the community call slides, but just condensed in a way that people can understand that we have things going on. And the other two, it's break the ice with someone from the community present. For example, if no one is asking question, just like, hey Tam, how was when you arrived? Like, how did you got into be active? And so passing the ball to someone who already has a history in the TEC, so it's easy for them to relate. And then lastly, have a list of things to do from the working groups. Again, practical, less theoretical orientation call, more driven towards a practical approach, so people know or identify things that can work on. I also provide the one-on-ones, what I usually tend to do in the one-on-ones, what is the approach that I do, and finally the orientation database, how I manage the database. So these are the things I do. I probably am skipping a lot of stuff. So I will pass it on quickly to anyone who want to provide feedback on this. We'll start with Tam.
Oh, I definitely am going to have. So my first reaction is this is really great. It's like your secret sauce. It's like, Colonel's recipe, but like. So it's really great to see. I'll look at it some more and give some better feedback. This is just my knee-jerk reaction. I'm so glad we have this now. Thanks, Eduardo. And I'll pass it. Do you want me to pass? Do we passing it around? I'll pass to Aloysius.
Well, I really appreciated the walkthrough. I have to sit with things before I have thoughts about them, but I'm excited to share those thoughts when they manifest.
Thank you. Let's handle it on mute because I don't think everyone will have a feedback for this. So does anyone who wants to provide feedback, do you want to unmute and just press away? LD, there you go.
First of all, this is awesome. I'm so happy we did this. We can get some people supporting me. I think that if I were a guide coming in trying to learn how to be a guide, I would love to have this. This is a lot of the soft abstract stuff, and then I would also love a step by step that is this is the flow, or I love the visuals, like a flow chart of just the different actions that you kind of go through when you're guiding a new person from start to finish. And just have kind of in parallel to what the guide, the newcomer's experience is also the guide experience. And I'll also go back in and write my thoughts. Great job though. So happy with success. I'm gonna get you some support.
Go ahead, Gideon.
Well, let me echo. This is great. I love seeing processes like this, and it's really thoughtful. And I like all of the attention to tone. That's just good. That's so important to this process in particular. One thing I was thinking just at the very beginning, it might be helpful to just do just a quick, almost bullets of what's the overall process that you take people through. So there's the individual guides, the one-on-ones, the orientation, but just quickly how do all these fit together? That might help orient people. But I love it. It's great.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to provide feedback on this?
I just heard about a new feature in the Discord, which I'm delighted about because I don't use anything but that really. And that's the create and view events. But I only see that when I'm in a voice channel. I do wonder, can we make it so that will be in the chat channels too, so that because that seems like where most people would spend majority of their time?
So as far as I know, if you go all the way to the top, you will see a small text that says 27 events, and there you will see the events that are not active and the ones that will come in.
So in Communitas?
No,
in the general text. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say it's super new feature, and we started playing with it last week. Last Monday in our Communitas call was like the maiden voyage for the events, and Zeptimus populated all of the events for the calendar for this week. So in the top left, you should see Live Now TEC Communitas Weekly. So any channel that as long as you're on the TEC Discord server, you can see what's playing live now, and if you click on the top 27 events, you can see all of the events that are upcoming this week, and you can click interested on them, and I think you get a reminder.
Oh, yeah, I saw in the top right where it said, create and view events. I just was requesting that maybe we could find that in. If I'm in a chat channel too, it would be nice to know that I could find it in the same spot. That's all I'm saying. And I just think from an orientation standpoint, to be consistent across, so whether it's voice or chat, it would seem to make sense for new people and for people who have limited bandwidth like myself and like to, I kind of focus on the least common denominator elements to find my way. Thank you.
Do you mean a chat channel on the Discord server or a chat channel that's like a DM chat channel?
So if I'm in Communitas voice right now and I go in the top right, I see create and view events. But if I Communitas typing channel, then I don't see that same visual element.
No, you see it.
And so that's...
No, you should always see it. You don't see it right now?
No, I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing, right? So if I click on the Communitas chat channel, right, I see threads, I see muting a channel, pin messages, hide member list, inbox, and help and search, and I don't see the same visual element.
Would you like to
create and view events? So I could give you a screenshot of that if you want.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So that would be slightly harder too, because like the voice channel and the text channel are separate entities, so we can't schedule the events via that. But there can be something like a bot that does it, but it's again not going to be good user experience. I think it's like maybe one way we could do this is clump the channels together, like we keep the text channel and the voice channel next to each other. That can be a possible solution, but then again, that can also look like clutter.
I see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd love to see what you're seeing, Durgadas, because I'm on my laptop and I'm not on the voice channel. I'm on the Communitas channel, and I do see.
I'm actually, there's no arrow or anything pointing me to what you're trying to get me to look at, so I'm not clear. I see your screenshot, but I'm not clear on what you're asking me to see.
Okay, it's the large green bar.
Oh, the large green bar. Oh, yeah, where it says join, and I see the live now part. What I'm saying is that the thing that helps me is to click on that calendar element and be like, here's everything happening today or whatever. Like, I definitely see that in the voice channel, but I don't in the text channel, so that's all I'm saying.
Just to work this async so we can sort of fix it and see if it is the Discord. Because I think this is helpful to understand if things are showing differently for other people and they are not seeing the same stuff, so we need to sort of do something in order to make it visible for everyone.
No, I mean, I definitely see things that are live now. I just, so we'll handle it async, I guess. But I just thought I'd report that because I was a little confused by why it wasn't in both places and thought I'd bring it to everyone's attention. Thanks.
Thank you, Lugara. And Aloysius, you were going to say something? Okay, all right, perfect. So that's on the guides. So I suggested a kickoff session for anyone who wanted to take on the role of the guides, since we are gonna eventually get to the commons to grade, and we will have a budget also assigned to guides. So if anyone here can or want to bring support to this, I suggest a kickoff session that we can talk about it. A special also shout out to all the issues who they were being a guide without being asked to before Comunitas was actually in place. So it's an invitation also to get back at it if you feel like it, and for everyone else here on the call also. So that's it. And if you all want that kickoff sessions, anyone's interested, just send me a message, or in Communitas we can commonly in the common space agree to when we can do that. Besides that, I want to give time to Cesar for the survey for the community call. I wrote a message to Libby to ask her about the state of the survey, and she responded she couldn't attend today to the call, so that Cesar was the most according person to respond to this question. So I don't know what you'd like to share with us. Basically, the intention is if there's any support that you need, if we need to send the survey to people, like just to understand how we can help you.
Sure. Would it help if I posted the survey on the one of the chats? I don't know if people have seen the survey.
If it hasn't changed, Libby posted it last week. I don't know if the document can change. It's on my screen right now, so you can tell me if it is different or not. And then this one.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, so I have that one, and then I made it into a Google form as well. And let me
perfect.
1 second to look for it.
No problem.
I will share it with you guys.
Can I make a suggestion with respect to forms?
Yes.
It's been my estimation in working with people who use HubSpot that they tend to regret not using HubSpot to create all their forms, because HubSpot because it basically establishes a single source of truth. And also what it does is it actually can, like at the most basic level, if you have it on your website or you have created forms, basically you just have a record of every interaction that anyone ever makes with your organization. So even at the most surface level, if you put the code into the website and then you use HubSpot forms, or once you put the code into it'll suck all the information out of the forms anyway, but just using all these sort of different things, type form, blah, 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 just doesn't center your the interactions within a single frame of reference. So you might get a lot more intelligence in terms of your comms and your customer relationship management, which will eventually need to come when we're much bigger than we are now, right? So by just advising you to maybe convert, it's good to create maybe a Google form as a quick, and dirty way to say, is this what we want to do? But, maybe the final version of all these forms should always be on HubSpot. And I might even go so far as to suggest that we make an assessment about all the various forms we're using in these different places and break them up into sections so they can all be used in that way. So that's just a reflection I've had, because in the last couple of weeks I've had a couple of clients who are just like, oh my God, forms everywhere. And so it's just a little present in my mind.
Thank you.
Perfect. No, thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, because that was a conversation that I had with Lilia, like which one do we use? And as you said, I use Google Forms just because it was like the quickest. We can always transfer the information. But yeah, so if you guys can take a look at the form, and like the questions are pretty much the same, and so I kind of separated into like two perspectives that I feel that we could get, and maybe there's like a way of combining it where it's easier. Like that's totally cool. But one perspective was, from people such as ourselves, people who are, like more in sync with what the Commons is doing. And then obviously like I'm trying to get you guys to think about okay, what was it like when I was new first? Like, what did I feel like? Did I feel lost? Like that kind of stuff. Like trying to capture that because that input is very valuable. And then the second perspective is from the person receiving the presentation. And then that's kind of the second one, the survey for participants. And that's the Google form that you will see. And actually, could you go to the Communitas work group? I posted the form there.
Sure, right away. So, have you sent the survey to someone so far?
I believe only one person has filled it out. I'm not sure when or where it was used, or if it was just like a practice run. But that's that's the one. And so obviously, please, whatever feedback you guys have, feel free to make a comment on the survey, and then we can add, delete, whatever changes you guys want to make. Yep.
So, my question here could be, and this is open for everyone, then shall we, I don't know if it's tough off the role this, shall we incentivize the filling of this survey? Shall we also, for example, use it for orientation, since we have it, and we can have also a clear understanding of what people think of the orientation, but like, what are your thoughts in general about this form and how we can execute it? I love the work, Cesar. I think a Hubspot could be a good idea to move it there. And then since you have done most of the work, for me now the question comes about how do we deploy this in a way that we can take advantage of it. Only one person if only one person have fill it, then we are still fresh to go. Any thoughts,
Right.
Gideon, Tam?
One idea that I have is to allocate maybe like 3 minutes in the call before everybody gets off, or you could do it like right as soon as the call's over, and then just kind of have people do it together like at the very end of the presentation, but making sure that you allocate at least a couple minutes and give people the opportunity, because I feel like if you tell them like if you give them the option of like do it later or do it after the call, like no one's gonna not a lot of people are gonna do it. And like I've been to events where like they give it to you and they're like, okay, everyone, we're all gonna do it like right now, and then that's how they get everybody to do it when they just integrate it as part of the presentation. If that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, MS, you wanted to say something?
I was actually just probably making faces and made it look like I was going to say something. But one question really quickly. I didn't follow this project, so please excuse if I'm way off. But is it possible for us to have a question that would help us identify how long somebody's been involved in the community? Because if I'm doing data analysis on it, I'd be really interested in the perspective of people who are brand new filling out the community call survey versus people who've been with the community for a while.
Yeah, we can totally add that question on there. Yeah, and that's actually, I'm so glad you did this, because the purpose of the survey is for us to get data that we can use to take an action, right? And so like this is a perfect example of like having that piece of information. And so if there's something that like an action that you would like to take that would help you to know something from the participants, then yeah, please feel free to add it, because that's really the purpose of the survey, or one of it.
Cool. Yeah, because there's a lot. I think there's a lot of really exciting conversations happening in each of the working groups, and it's like there's pieces of it that overlap to the other working groups that would be really helpful for everyone. Because right now, with what's going on the rewards group side too, there's some consonants of things they're looking for out of data as well.
And I just want to point out that this exact thing that you're talking about right now is a conversation I had been having in one of the working groups about using the vast amount of Hubspot integrations to connect Discord with HubSpot. HubSpot and Discord, or HubSpot and Slack, have have a built-in automation that works, whereas with Discord you need Zapier or one of these other kind of connectors to make that happen. So if we're going to be trying to derive intelligence from people participating on the Discord, I think we need to make a technical connection there and sort of get that to work. So I'm not sure who's sort of working on the integration between our Discord and other things, but I think this is a thing that we need to flesh out in order for us to sort of connect the dots with respect to a lot of these things, because if we don't do that, then I don't think we're going to be able to derive that kind of information, or really any kind of information from the Discord side of it. And and then I also don't know if Discord really even has joined this server for this amount of time. Like, I don't really know. And frankly, I could have joined and never participated, a year ago. And so that there may be, I don't know. So maybe there's a quantification thing we need to do with respect to praise or trusted seed, or there could be many other factors involved in that. So that's a little bit of a complex question, but to get started, we're going to need to connect them. So thanks.
All right. Sorry, Gideon.
Yeah, just to pile on to that, I think that the CRM thing is something that's really important. Just to echo that, I think we really need to figure out not just like what's possible, but also even philosophically, like this is a big question. Like with a decentralized organization, actually, how much stuff is it cool to store centrally? Is it? Do we want to like? What's our thinking on that? And what data? Because my sense is some of the data that's in there is also sensitive, but even just more, there's going to be some trade-off. There's some convenience and service that comes from having all this data in one place. So that's a great thing. It's super powerful, and yet as a DAO, especially as a token engineering commons, like there's this philosophical question about, is it cool to do that? Is this the way that these new organizations are going to work? So I think that would be something like over the next couple months that would be good to just hammer out some simple thoughts on.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And also, just from a technical standpoint, it may be just useful to begin like a normal sort of corporate sort of idea, just to establish things like schema and what is it we need and what's useful for us, and then sort of maybe migrate into a CRM that is decentralized or on the blockchain or something else like we had been talking about. I think we started with Dashlane with respect to like password and account management, and we might move into some other sort of decentralized blockchain version of that too. So I think it may be just that when we're implementing these solutions, we always think like about the evolution of that too. So
thank you. We have 5 minutes left, and the question is still present. So as a step of taking a look at Hubspot and check how good or not it is for the implementation of this survey. Secondly, the sync of Hubspot and Discord and see if it is possible and how beneficial it could be. And then third, the implementation during a community call. Is that correct? Is that something we all agree on? To look to just our least research on if it is possible, or someone proposes another path for this. I saw you muted. Go ahead.
Yeah, for the HubSpot to Discord integration, I would be interested in like going into that. So if you can like maybe go like have do it asynchronously or have like a hack session where we try to figure things out, I'll be up for that.
Yeah, I've done a lot with HubSpot, so I'm happy to show you some of the stuff that I do know. I haven't worked with connectors too much yet, apart from the ones that are built into HubSpot, but I could gladly do a one-on-one or whatever with you. Thanks.
I love how one-on-one sessions come out of this call, so kudos to that. Okay, so Cesar, can you think eventually at some point we do that as about the putting the survey on HubSpot? I don't know if you're familiar with HubSpot or not, just to get on.
Yeah, I am not, so I would definitely love to learn more about it. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in learning more and using it for sure.
All right. Does anyone else have any other thought they want to share regarding this topic before we close it up in the last 3 minutes? 5. Yes,
Just to go back to the survey, I'd say I think that we could, like, I thought that we advertised it on the last community call, but it's normal that people don't love to jump and fill out surveys. I think maybe we could do a round of advice process on the questions to get some more dimensions on the questions, like the suggestion MS had. And I know that it came out of a conversation. I think it came out of a conversation, Caesar, between you and Olivia, and it's sort of like happened super quick. And maybe we can have another look and see if we can build on what you've put here. I mean, it's maybe we can build on what you've put here and then sort of push it like through advice process of what you're just doing here in Communitas and maybe also in SoftGov again, and then in communications, and then we can then we can make a push to encourage people similarly to what we did, like new people. You know, hey, anyone that has a role new member. You know, hey, new members, help us make this better by filling out this survey and like individually asking people if they could take 2 minutes, as long as we can keep it nice and short.
Yeah, also on Twitter and so on. Jesse, sir, you were gonna say something?
Oh no, I'm down for that. Sounds great.
Nice.
Do you have the
So,
questions? Sorry, do you have the
Go
questions?
ahead.
Do you have the questions in a Word document?
Yes, I do. I'll send that to. Oh, that's the one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I found the. I'm sorry. I launched the survey when I clicked on your link.
Okay.
Like a Word document.
The one that I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Or just drop it in Communitas,
legend.
and that way people can comment on it.
Yeah, it's on the agenda. It's on the agenda.
So, Brian, Caesar, do you want to just jump on a quick async after this meeting, and then we can try to figure out where we go from here?
Yeah, sure. I have time right now.
Okay, I just happened to also. So, thanks.
Sweet.
Alrighty. Thanks, everyone. We will skip for any other moment the updates orientation. And just quickly, I will send, if everyone's okay, I will send a message to Christopher to change this part of the website to immediately, rather than going to the Discord, because right now if you click on it, it takes you to the Discord. I would rather take it to the calendar appointment of the orientation call and with a description of the orientation call, because it's a little bit vague and you have to make more steps to get to orientation call. So if everyone's okay, I will suggest a change to Christopher. Is that okay, Tam?
Instead of DMing Christopher directly, you could definitely open an issue and maybe somebody else can pick it up.
Okay.
And then I'm not even sure where that is on our website.
That's on the join section of the DEC website. When you click on join, it sends you to everything, but there is a call to action that says, first of all, go to orientation, or orientation comes first. But when you click on it, it takes you to the Discord.
This should go to a Calendly with slots open for one-on-ones.
Yes.
I mean, that's what we should set up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The last question was, how are you? Please answer if you want on the community text channel. How are you? Because I didn't ask you that today. So thank you so much for joining today, and I look forward to see you all next week.
Wait, before we jump off, what is Gideon's piece?
Yes. He mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about doing a story on our automation and our kind of the outreach. So I'm doing something a medium piece, and what I'll do is I'm going to send it out. I'll just put it on the channel, and people can comment. I would love to get people's comments because I'm talking kind of bigger picture, but then also specifically what we're doing. So it'd be great. Be later this week, probably.
Awesome.
Thank you for following that up, Gideon, after we talked about it on the call. So anyways, thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.